These videos have been possible with the help of those that support me on Patreon, so thank you guys for your constant support, and if you want to support me, you can click on the link on your screen right now, or click the link in the description below. Thanks a lot. Hello everybody, my name is Tyler Vaya, and I have one simple question for you. Isn't it about time we stopped giving Keiji Inafune money? You know, I remember a few years ago when I was watching that Mighty No. 9 Kickstarter first get launched, I watched it for hours as people continued to pledge their money, and the money went higher and higher and higher, and more those stretch goals were reached. And who could really blame these people for throwing their hard-earned cash at this project? We were promised that many of the people who worked on the original Mega Man games would be here to work their asses off on this spiritual successor. We even got to hear that catchy melody for the theme song, and Inafune gave us a heartwarming explanation about wanting to go back to his roots, back to one of the most beloved creations he ever made after Capcom stomped its corpse into the dirt. We yearned for a new Mega Man. No, we needed a new Mega Man. So when that Kickstarter went live, like zombies to the bodies of a black man on The Walking Dead, we dived right in. The game was funded in a matter of days, and we still had several months to continue to fund the game, and they ended up walking out with a cool $3.8 million. We could hear those voices of people trying to warn us about Inafune. Don't do it, they said. He's the one who wanted to westernize all Capcom's franchises, they said. He's the reason why DMC happened, they said. He's a businessman, not a creator. But we didn't care. We wanted to see the game that we've waited so long to get our hands on. Everything looked good. The future was bright. And then, like a hangover after a weekend of drunken partying, we were punched in the face by the hard right hook of life and awoke to the feeling of reality settling in. The hopes of a lot of backers, or Beckers as they were called, started to crumble away as the development team went all but radio silent about the game's development, leaving most of the communication between the fans on the forums and the developers in the hands of a now infamous woman with a massive chip on her shoulder, who, among other things, lied about her interest in Mega Man games to try to drum up sympathy for herself, admitted that she only got the job because she was dating somebody on the game's development staff, and worst of all, would seemingly at random go on banning sprees, banning anybody who talked negatively about the game's development, the team, or her. Admittedly, I personally thought this would barely have an impact on the support of the game at all, with most people just ignoring that game's development, just waiting for their game to come out so they can get their hands on it. But I think I was wrong, because, you know, several weeks ago, Keiji Inafune announced another Kickstarter, this time for a spiritual successor to Mega Man Legends. What more of an appropriate title could we honestly see get a spiritual successor from Inafune, who was already working on Mighty No. 9, than seeing Red Ash, the official spiritual successor to Mega Man Legends? I think this for me was the actual last red flag that I needed to actually break off all support of Keiji Inafune and anything that had his name attached to it. At this point, it's become clear to me that Inafune has nothing to offer the gaming community but the ability to shamelessly bank off of nostalgia and the broken dreams of franchises long dead. Having seen the gameplay and the screenshots of Mighty No. 9 now in comparison to where it was when it was getting funded, I think it's very obvious this project is as soulless as Beck's eyes. I think it's about time that people stop giving their hard-earned cash to a company that's only in the business of banking off your disappointment in companies that previously broke your heart. With this second Kickstarter, Comcept seemed to have crossed a line with fans, which led to Red Ash not being successfully funded. Not that it mattered, however, because Keiji Inafune and Comcept were approached by a Chinese company called Fuse Entertainment. Fuse, who you can see on the screen right here, really seems like the beacon of quality when it comes to this game, and now that they are funding the game, we can actually say that we are getting a licensed Chinese Mega Man Legends knockoff. I never thought I would see the day where the Japanese would actually support something like this. With the Red Ash Kickstarter, Keiji Inafune once again promised his fans the world. So what's the problem? The first game he promised people isn't even out yet. In fact, there have been 2 sets of rumors going around whether or not the game's physical release is going to get delayed into 2016, with both Comcept and Deep Silver refusing to comment. So with one game in development, what has Inafune done to quell the fans who aren't too happy about the current state of Mighty No. 9? Did he promise that their feedback was being taken into consideration? Did he promise to increase communication between the team and the backers? No! Instead, he promised that he would have a cartoon, an anime, and a live-action movie created for Mighty No. 9, a game that's not even out yet. You know, this reminds me of what a certain bald-headed based game developer from Japan once said. Let me just go and... Oh, wait, he blocked me. Okay, well, let me go and Google this really quick. Okay, there it is. He's a businessman, not a creator. Yeah, I think this is a pretty accurate assessment of their current situation. I mean, he also called Mighty Number 9 a horrible insult to the original, but that's beside the point. Inafune is not in the market to create a new product. He is here to make money off of your nostalgia, and by continuing to support him, which people actually gave the Red Ash Kickstarter $400,000 before the amount of money that was pledged to it started to plummet, when people realized that Keiji Inafune is a scumbag. He doesn't care about your product. He just wants your money. He just wants your money. He's the kind of guy that you would bring in to try to find a way to properly market your game so you can get the maximum amount of profits. And how do you honestly market this game? Well, you can't get much better than a live action movie, a cartoon, and a manga created for a game that's not even out yet, but you are banking on being successful. So you can create a franchise that you're able to shit out a copy of, or shit out a new version of every couple of years, so you can continue to make money, so you can continue to work on other projects that are going to be banking off the fans of series now long dead. I honestly would not be surprised to see him try to bank off of other franchises that are pretty much long dead by Capcom standards. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another Devil May Cry spiritual successor to come out from him, which would suck ass, by the way, but it wouldn't stop him from trying, because it doesn't matter about quality, it just matters about the amount of money that he's able to make off of it. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Resident Evil spiritual successor coming out from him. Again, completely will suck ass, will completely be shit, but who the fuck cares when you can make all that moolah? This just goes to show that people need to be more careful when it comes to the Kickstarters that they were willing to donate their money to. Now, admittedly, I was 100% supportive of the Keiji Inafune Mighty Number 9 Kickstarter. I wanted to see a spiritual successor to Mega Man, and I wanted to see, more than anything, Capcom get proven wrong. And all we've seen now is that Capcom was in the right when it came down to Keiji Inafune. I'm not saying don't give your money to Kickstarters. Honestly, there are a lot of them out there that I support, and I will continue to support. I supported the Freak Kickstarter, full disclosure. I do consider several of the people who work on that game's development to be my friends. I support the Bloodstained Kickstarter. I support the Yooka-Laylee Kickstarter. I supported the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter. I don't think that all Kickstarting is bad. I think some Kickstarting is very good. Divinity Original Sin was a Kickstarter game that had backers on it. That game is one of the greatest RPGs of all time. It has to come down to the people who work on your projects. Not the platform of which you try to make money off of your projects, but the people themselves. And Keiji Inafune has proven time and time again now that he is not a person that can be trusted with your hard-earned cash. It is about time we stop giving him money so he stops fucking with us. Unfortunately, that means a lot of other people who I do truly believe are working their asses off on trying to make this the best game they possibly can are going to be left by the wayside after this project. But that's what you have to do when you take your stand as a consumer to say, enough is enough, I am sick of this fucking shit. Because I think most people at this point are sick of this shit. And if they're not sick of this shit, they're honestly not looking into it enough. Because if they were to look into it even for a moment, they would see how fucking stupid all of this is. Keiji Inafune is a man who cannot be trusted. When other Japanese developers, people who, honestly, are way too polite because they are afraid of coming off as rude to fucking anybody, even so much as that they can be xenophobic as fuck, but they will still be polite to you because they don't want to seem rude, are actually willing to come out on the record and shit talk you. It's not because they're an asshole, it's because you have done something to wrong those people. Keiji Inafune, it should have been a red flag when it was Keiji Inafune in and of himself, because remember, he was the one who wanted to westernize all of Capcom's IPs, which then put Capcom on the highway of being a shit-tier, irrelevant developer who survives solely off of their street fighting game community. After Resident Evil 6 bombed super fucking hard, and now they're able to bring it back with, what was it? What did they bring it back with? Oh, they went back to the fucking basics with Resident Evil HD, and they're going to be doing more games like that. Once they go back to the basics of what made them so fucking popular, things start to look up for them. Nearly every bad problem beyond, I think, even the DLC, and I think even something that can be attributed to Keiji Inafune in and of himself, can be placed directly at Keiji Inafune's feet when it comes to Capcom. That should have been the red flag that we needed to tell us that we are not willing to justify giving our money to this guy. But I will say this, the project will come out, and you know what? I hope to God it comes out by the end of the year for the backers, so they have something, anything to get their fucking hands on. And maybe if people get to play Mighty Number 9, maybe all the gameplay that we have seen from it from now is just a fucking lie, and what we get will be the true spiritual successor to Mega Man that we were promised when the game was first getting its ass funded. I personally don't believe it for a fucking moment. But if we get that, and these fans get to play that game, and they are happy, and they are content playing what they are playing, I'll be happy. I'll be happy that that's what they get. I want this to be good for them. I didn't give Mighty Number 9 money. I supported it, but at the time, I had no money to give it. But you know what? I would have given my money to it, so I thank God that I was poor at that time when the game was up for funding. But for all those people who did donate their money to it, I want them to like it. I want them to have fun. This is for them. And if the game is shit, which I honestly think is going to be the case, it's going to be shit, I hope to God this is enough of a fucking flag for people to stop giving Inafune money. So, should we stop giving Inafune money? I think I just answered that question. My name is Tyler Valle, and you guys have a great day.